Hello and welcome to the Soldier Raid Guide for defeating Festergut, the one of the two bosses preceding Professor Putricide in 10-man Icecrown Citadel, located within the Plagueworks wing. I am Pardue and I'll be outlining our guild's strategy for defeating this boss. Our group comp consists of 2 tanks and 2 healers, although some guilds may want to use 3 if they encounter difficulty keeping the tanks and raid alive. The first tank to grab Festergut should be the tank who can build threat instantly. Warriors and druids tend to be rage dry when resetting the encounter, so immediate threat can more easily come from paladins or death knights. To pull Festergut, have a hunter shoot him and feign death, or a rogue use a thrown weapon and vanish. This will allow the raid to spread out around Festergut. Choose 4 range classes to be at range from Festergut. Priority should go to Affliction Warlocks and Hunters, which are classes that can still DPS on the move. This fight is currently a DPS race that can be very tight for some guilds, so proper choices here can make or break your DPS. Once Festergut is pulled, he should be tanked facing away from the raid and kept near the center of the room. His moves are Vile Gas, Gas Spore, Gastric Bloat, and Inhale Blight. When the boss is pulled, Putricide will fill the room with an orangish brown gas called Gaseous Blight. This will cause raid DPS proportional to the amount of gas in the room. Festergut will also cast Vile Gas on a random ranged target. It will cause the target to vomit violently for 6 seconds and cause anyone else within 8 yards to begin vomiting also. Because of this ability, you need every range spread 10 yards apart when not stacking for the spores. When Putricide casts Gas Spore, he will randomly target 2 players. These players will get a large spore above their head, reminiscent of Lotheb from Naxxramas, and everyone in the raid needs to stack on them. They will erupt after about 10 seconds and give a buff that reduces shadow damage by 25% per stack and are needed in order to survive Festergut's gastric explosion. It is important to note that tanks should not be moving, so be sure to always get a spore into melee if there's not one placed there already by the boss. Another move to be aware of is the Gastric Bloat. He will stack this on tanks, and each stack increases damage by 10%. It is important for the tanks to not allow this move to get to 10 stacks or it will cause a wipe. We found that having the tanks taunt at 8 stacks is about the right interval. Finally, for tanks and healers, Blizzard included the Inhale Blight. Festergut will suck down the gas in the room and increase his damage by 30% per stack. After 2 inhales, he begins hitting tanks fairly hard. Minor cooldowns can be used in this phase to aid the healers, but be sure to save major cooldowns, especially damage-reducing cooldowns, for the 3rd inhale. During the 3rd inhale, tanks need to keep up constant and even slightly overlapping cooldowns. Trinkets, armor increases, health regeneration, and damage reduction should all be used. It is important for tanks to have 100% uptime on these cooldowns, or healers can easily fall behind. Also have tanks call for raid cooldowns such as Divine Sacrifice, Hand of Sacrifice, and healer cooldowns if theirs are exhausted. For healers, the period of 3 inhales until he explodes is the most difficult. Be sure to be ready to get the entire raid back to full health after his explosion, because the raid damage resets and can easily overwhelm healers, especially with Vile Gas going out. This fight can be more difficult fight if the entire raid is low on gear score. It relies heavily on tanks that can mitigate, healers that can keep them alive and manage mana cooldowns, as well as DPS that can beat the enrage timer. A good group getting all 3 spore buffs on every player and proper execution of cooldowns during the 3rd inhale phase are key to the 251 item level loot offered by Festergut. If you have any questions, feel free to post those. Hope you enjoy the rest of the video and you found this helpful. Feel free to subscribe if you'd like to view other soldier guides as I post them. Good luck in your progression and hard mode raids.